Welcome back to Radical Age Reversal. I'm Carrie Donegan, your host, and we are continuing in the book, Eat to Beat Your Diet by Dr. William Lee. And we have been talking a lot about how fat develops, what it is, whether it's good, how much you need. So please go back and listen to previous episodes so that you can get the full spectrum of information needed to apply all of the wonderful ideas and programs that he gives us in this book. Today, we are going to pick up where we left off last week, and we are going to start where it says crossed signals, and that is on page 59 in the middle. So, what we're going to talk about today basically is what is your metabolism? What does it do? How does it work? Does it get broken? Is everyone's metabolism the same, or are you born with a different type of metabolism? What kind of things do you have to overcome as an individual? Does food really play a role, and what food specifically will play a significant role in that? This includes things like types of diet, even yo-yoing diet we're going to talk about. And then lastly, I'm going to talk to you about doTERRA MetaPWR Blend essential oil, which is really going to be a key element in getting everything right. So again, let's get started. Let's talk about cross signals. He said, routine overeating causes your adipocytes to get bigger and bigger until they're filled to the brim with fuel. Fat begets fat, and the rate at which people with obesity can make new adipocytes is actually 2.6 times faster than people of normal weight. So I wanted to go over that again. We talked about that last week, but I just want us to understand that once you reach a point where certain systems in your body have broken down, fat will take over and it just wants more. It almost becomes like a monster in your body. So, something that was really healthy, super important, regulating lots of different body systems, has now become a giant a monster, and you have to be able to tame that monster to get your body working again. The good news is that it absolutely can be done by everyone, no matter what the state of life you are in, whether your age, what your weight is, and what your percentage of fat. So there's a lot of hope in this book, and I love that. I want to talk a little bit about what he calls metabolic mayhem. And remember, we talked about leaders act right, right? We had leptin, which we're going to talk about today, adipocytes, which we're going to talk about now, and resistant, which we're not going to talk about today. But I just want to recall those three things because remember, we went over them in detail and they're super important. Now, remember, leptin is that thing that tells your body that you're full. So, people who are leptin resistant are hungry all the time. So, if that's you, your metabolism isn't broken. What's broken is you cannot respond to leptin in your brain anymore. So we're going to fix that, and then everything is going to fall into place. So what happens? We have those adipocytes. So remember, the adipocytes are this element that's going to be pervasive, right? It's just everywhere. And when they are disrupted, when they take over, remember I said that the leptin was the leader. It tells you to eat, not to eat. But the adipocytes are the army that's sent out. And when there's a mutiny, if you will, and there's too many of these soldiers out in your body, too many adipocytes, what happens is that it creates excess fat. Okay, so when you have too much excess fat for the adipocytes to handle, you're going to get too much triglycerides. Now, when you have too many triglycerides, and I know you hear these words when you go to the doctor, but it's important for us to really understand what they mean. So, when your triglycerides are too high, it backs up into your bloodstream. Okay, so you have all these triglycerides in your bloodstream. I really want you to follow the triglycerides more than following cholesterol because old science said to us, oh, cholesterol is the problem. And it's really not cholesterol. cholesterol, it can be very necessary, and we're not going to talk about it today, but it's triglycerides that can cause problems because when these triglycerides build up in your bloodstream, they end up putting fat into your liver at high amounts. And when you get high amounts of liver fat, you're going to end up with liver toxicity or lipotoxicity. And this can cause a lot of damage to your liver, can also cause damage to other organs. So that's really important for us to know. Triglycerides, we want to know how much of those triglycerides are in your blood at any particular time. So, the number one thing that I thought was kind of easy, but also a little bit disappointing was the truth is your number one defense mechanism or your number one tool to start rebuilding your metabolism is actually caloric restriction, which means just eating fewer calories. Now, everything we put in our mouth has a calorie, and there's a lot of debate as to whether all calories are created equal. And of course, there's not. There's calories from sugars that are refined, and then there's calories from like high quality fruits, vegetables, meats, and whole grains. Those are obviously going to be the type of calories that we want to take in. And later in the book, he's going to talk about exactly which foods you want to eat to get your metabolism working properly. But I think first and foremost, if you want caloric restriction, one of the best things you can do is look at the packages of the foods that you're eating and remove anything with a long chemical name. So if you have to Google it to figure out what it is and whether it's good, then take it out of your diet right away. And this is going to create some caloric restriction because if you're used to eating certain things and now they're off your list, then by just numbers of types of foods, you're going to be eating less. So I know for a lot of people who have leptin resistance who don't ever feel full, this is going to be tough because until we fix your leptin, it's going to be hard to understand that you have to stop eating or you've actually gotten enough food. But if you take out those unhealthy chemicals that are giving you no nutrition, you're also going to feel more full from the foods that are healthy and that are going to make your body feel happy. And hopefully, over time, you're going to be able to slowly step away from the amount of calories that you're eating. So, the second thing that caloric restriction does is it makes us more sensitive to insulin. And we know insulin sensitivity is super important because it keeps us from getting diabetes. And people who are pre diabetic are also susceptible to a whole host of other issues, including brain issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, and also things like hormone imbalances and and cancerous conditions, also autoimmune diseases. So, like diabetes should be like one of those big red flags. And the solution isn't necessarily just diabetic medication because it's not going to get to the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is the broken insulin. Just like the obesity problem, one of the root causes of the problem is broken leptin. And remember, leptin is the leader, adipocytes are the army. And when there's the leader is out of control, right? It's not doesn't know full or not full, then the army runs wild. We get those triglycerides, the triglycerides back up in our blood. The blood causes additional visceral fat, that very dangerous fat, to go into your liver and causes liver toxicity. So you don't have to be a drinker, you don't have to have any of those other bad habits for you to develop a fatty liver. Now, moving on, we want to keep in mind that if you have broken leptin, you're also going to put yourself at an immune response deficiency. And so people who are leptin resistant are also going to be people who end up with different diseases or just getting colds and flus. What they found was people who were leptin resistant, even when they got a flu vaccine, were contracting the flu because unlike a healthy person with a good leptin response, they weren't creating the antibodies they needed against the flu. So, when people say, I got the flu shot, but I got sick anyway. Okay, red flag goes up now for me. And I say to myself, could that person get tested for their leptin response? Perhaps their leptin is broken and it needs to be fixed. All right. So, where do we start removing things? He said the number one thing we need to get out of our food choices is high fructose corn syrup, okay, which is a chemical, by the way. The fact that it has the word corn in it and the fact that it has the word syrup in it doesn't make it a food. It just makes it like confusing. All right. So, where are we going to find this? Hard candies, candy bars, sodas, factory made desserts, and other snacks associated with obesity. I will also caution you cough drops. Okay. I'm a big proponent of the doTERRA cough drops, the lozenges, whether it's On Guard, the Breathe lozenges, the ginger lozenges, or the specialty lozenges that they come out at the holidays. We had like a lemon lime one this year, cinnamon drops. None of the bad stuff is going to be found in those lozenges. But you go to a drugstore and you pull a cough medicine or a cough lozenge off the shelf, you're going to see a lot of chemicals in there that, ironically, you're taking to feel better, but it's actually making you sicker. So get rid of those right away. Now, I was really excited because the next section of this chapter was titled Fight Fat with Food, but we're not going to talk about the foods yet. So I'm just going to let you know that. I know you're going to be disappointed. I was disappointed when I saw this, but he's setting us up. He's like laying the foundation so we understand that food is going to fix things, but he has to do some groundwork first. So, what kind of groundwork do we need to know? What are the things that we need to know? Well, one thing I thought was interesting is he talks about yo-yo dieting. And I was always told that yo-yo diets are bad for you, right? Like you should just lose weight and consistently work on getting to your goal weight and never, ever, ever bounce back because like that's the worst thing for your body and it will break your metabolism. Well, lo and behold, that is a myth. Okay, so that's kind of exciting. Every time you try to lose weight, even if you gain weight back, and obviously we want to lose weight and keep it off, we want to keep going down, we want to get to our goal weight, right? Those Goldilocks moments, those settings are the things that we're trying to achieve. But if you are a yo-yo dieter, don't worry because actually the statistics are very much in your favor. So, researchers looked at specific diseases, and here is what they found. If you lost weight 1 to 2 times, right, just 1 to 2 times in your lifetime, you are at a 6% reduction in cancer risk. If you lost weight 3 to 4 times, you go to 4%, 5 to 6 times, 9%, 7 to 8 times, also 9%, 9 to 10 times. Okay, this is a yo-yo dieting, all right, 13%. And if you lose greater than, I mean, if you go greater than 11 times, you're at 22% for cancer reduction. Okay, so for those of you who have gone up and down, this is your day to give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a gold star, because every time you worked on losing weight, you increased your resistance against cancer, and that's a great thing. So we're going to get on a path with Dr. Lee so that we don't yo-yo anymore and we get to our goal weight. So I'm excited about that. But if your past has been one of yo-yoing, you don't have to be that concerned. It's going to actually be something that you did for yourself that was really good. So turn around your vision or your belief in what yo-yo dieting did in your life and remember that it did something really, really good. Okay. Here's another thing that he says this over and over in the book, and so I'm going to say it over and over to the audience, and that is even losing 5 pounds does incredible things for your health. Okay, so for those of you out there who want to lose weight, I want you to set your goal at 5 pounds. 5 pounds at a time. All right. Don't go for those big goals, 15, 20, 100 pounds. I see people are like, I have to lose 100 pounds. No, what you have to lose is 5 pounds. Dr. Lee says it right here. Dropping just 5 pounds can make you live longer and lighter. As you continue to lose more weight, you gain even more advantages, but we got to get to that 5 pound loss. Weight loss is a sliding scale of health benefits. So don't despair. I love that. I love that. Okay, we're on chapter 3. Congratulations. We're doing really well getting through this book, and thanks for sticking with it. Okay, so Losing weight will help you restore a slow metabolism. Let's talk first about what metabolism is because that word is thrown around a lot. And he gives a great definition on page 67 at the top. So I'm going to read it to you because I want you to hear the words as he writes them. Your metabolism is a system that controls every single function in your body. Okay. So it's not just about burning fat or gaining weight. It controls every single function in your body. It is the basis of life itself. The term comes from the Greek metabole or metabole. I don't speak Greek, so you can go ahead and correct me in the comment section, meaning change. Your body is in a continuous state of change, moving, growing, digesting, thinking, breathing, healing, and simply functioning. Just as a car has many connected parts from the gas tank to the engine to the wheels to everything in between, all working together to keep the vehicle road ready, so too is your metabolism working as the sum of thousands of interconnected biochemical and cellular reactions that operate collectively to keep you alive and well. When you get sick, a robust metabolism helps you recover and rebound to your usual self. A damaged metabolism is guaranteed to result in illness and a longer recovery from any counter with disease. Now, keeping the car analogy in mind, I'm going to end on this today. Placing low quality fuel in your body will eventually wear down your metabolism and wreck your health. So, that is super important. And we've already gotten to page 67, which is great. And we're going to pick up there with a chapter called Metabolism Revealed. So I hope you're enjoying this book as much as I am. I am enjoying being with you. So here's to breaking limits of age and living each day with vitality. Keep thriving. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Radical Age Reversal.